When the COVID pandemic hit, the state's unemployment fund quickly ran out of money trying to help a lot of workers who were laid off. Well, then the state borrowed $1 billion from the federal government to keep paying for those employees.
Well, that money is due by November, or employers will face a big bump in their taxes, and now state lawmakers are trying to help.
Here is Denver 7 politics reporter Megan Lopez.
Jim Noon will be the first to tell you.
Nobody cares about the box company until they run out of boxes.
His business isn't the most glamorous, but it is essential. He's been in the box business 38 years through booming economies and recessions.
I also was around the last time that we ran the unemployment trust fund below zero.
This time around, though, he's worried. The state's unemployment trust fund is out of money, and Colorado borrowed $1 billion from the federal government to help.
This scares me to death.
If that money isn't paid back by November,
every employer in the state has a 6% new tax that they're going to start paying.
Now state lawmakers are looking for solutions.
And we come together to do what's right.
In his yearly budget proposal, Governor Polis asked state lawmakers to dedicate $500 million from the general fund and another $100 million from the American Rescue Plan Act for that unemployment insurance fund.
We've got a big hole that we've dug, so we have to dig our way out.
Republicans like Senator Rob Woodward, meanwhile, have proposed their own bill to put even more money in. Senate Bill 66 calls for $1 billion to go to the federal government and an additional $1.1 billion to go to that unemployment fund.
If this were the fault of business, an economic downturn, they laid people off, I think it would be more appropriate to ask those businesses to repay that debt.
Democrats like Senator Julie Gonzalez agrees that this needs to be a priority.
To be able to say, as a state, hey, look, if you fall on hard times, we've got your back.
But she says there's a lot of other needs right now that deserve funding too. The bill was supposed to be heard in committee this week, but was delayed. Now Woodward is working with Democrats to find a way forward.
We can certainly have the dollar fight around what is the right dollar amount. That's going to be the work that we do in a bipartisan way.
Back at Centennial Containers,
employers had nothing to do with causing this problem.
Jim is bracing for an even bigger bill, hoping the state will find a way to help before that happens.
There's enough problems that COVID has caused that this is one that shouldn't be part of it.
So that businesses like his can focus on bouncing back. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And Megan also sat down with the chief of staff at the Labor Department for his viewpoint. And her question, is it weird to pay the federal government back with money borrowed from the federal government?
Not necessarily. I mean, to be quite honest with you, the pandemic is a very unique circumstance in all regards. We have borrowed more than we ever did during the Great Recession. And with that borrowing came also all of these federal programs like PUA and PUC that were 100% federally funded alongside those loans. So using that additional federal money to go towards the UI Trust Fund isn't necessarily weird.
Now, we realize this is a lot of information, so if you're interested in going over the finer points again, you will find Megan's article on thedenverchannel.com.